still at the Osuji and Smith Law Office, telling the story of Osuji and Smith lawyers. And then I'm here with an amazing lady, by the name of Rowan Fisher, who, as a result of the initiative between him and Charles, we are meeting today for this celebration. The immigration division, that she'll be the one leading that division of the organization. So tell us, what inspired you initially to be an immigration lawyer?
I was actually volunteering in a refugee camp in Greece,
Wow.
in an Afghan refugee camp just outside of Athens. I had been an energy lawyer in a previous life. I then had gone to Saudi Arabia and worked for the central bank and teaching for universities. And I was doing this volunteering. And I stood in the middle of this camp doing this work, and I realized I've got the skills and I've got a ticket that lets me help people. So why don't I come back to being a lawyer and come back and be an immigration lawyer in Canada?
Wow, what an amazing story. From Greece to Saudi, back to Calgary. Wow.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey, absolutely. And it's been inspiring. Returning back to Canada, I was away for almost a decade. And then coming back to Canada and coming back to Calgary and opening an immigration practice. It was inspiring, it was challenging, it was wonderful to help as many people as we could, and I love the work.
So February 1st this year,
Yes.
there was a new addition to Osuji and Smith Law Firm, which is the immigration division. So I'm an immigrant myself. And from what I read about you, you're also an immigrant as well as Charles. And I think it is good for people to have the knowledge of what to do when it comes to immigration practice. I get calls from my friends, individuals, outside of Canada who are looking for ways to come to Canada, and then many a times they tell me some tales that are very terrible. Painful stories of how they've been swindled, how they promise them heaven on earth, that when you come to Canada, there's a job waiting for you, there's a house waiting for you.
The perfect life.
Perfect life, and then they arrive, or some don't even get to leave.
Yeah, some don't even get here.
They don't get here, and they've paid so much money, and it's been stories of pain and all of that. And what you're doing, what are the solutions and what are the services that people should expect when they come to Osuji and Smith in terms of immigration services?
Well, the challenge anywhere is to know whether or not the person that you're working with is really an immigration professional. Is this someone who has experience? Is this someone who has training? Is this someone who is dedicated to the work that they're doing? Or are they just part of the multi-billion-dollar international immigration industry? And it's a really different perspective. With us here at Osuji and Smith, our job, especially as immigration lawyers, is to help. And help people who are in very difficult situations sometimes, who are having huge challenges coming to Canada or sometimes staying in Canada. So when we're looking at people from coming all over the world, we often have people who come to our offices who have spent tens of thousands of dollars to try and get here. And they've had application after application refused, and they don't know why. We can look at those applications. We do an assessment and an analysis of what's happened before, and we can often pinpoint the problems almost right away. So people are paying sometimes for thousands of dollars for people who don't even know how to fill out a simple application. And it's very sad. So part of one of the things that brought Charles and I together was this idea of education and giving people knowledge on how to find the right representatives, what questions to ask, and also let people know where the resources are. There's lots of really good resources online now for some general immigration information that is not a Facebook thread, that is not the cousin saying, this happened to me. And that's one of the big problems as well. We've got all of these sort of scams that are going on, but we also have a lot of lack of knowledge and a lot of misinformation that's circulating. So we are trying to combat that. We work with our clients to help them to come to Canada and find the best route, or to stay in Canada if they're having status issue problems.
Amazing.
But then we also do a lot of education. We do a lot of public presentations in all kinds of languages all across Alberta and Canada.
Just to spread the knowledge.
Just to spread the knowledge, right? How do you find a reliable representative? And then where can you find information yourself? And it is available, and the government does publish a lot of really good information, just people don't know where to find it. So we try to approach our work from lots of different angles.
Amazing. You said knowledge is power, and that is what you're providing here. One question I have is, and I know some of the audiences will have that question: how cheap, how expensive, is it affordable?
Yes. So lawyers are not cheap, right? That is just a fact of the existence of lawyering. But there is a really different way of charging, which is a flat fee model. So what we do is we do consultation to start. So a really general consultation to find out if we can help. Is this an immigration matter? What general information can we provide someone to kind of set them on the right course and get a scope of like what the work might do if we were going to do it. Then we break that apart into a next section, which is like an immigration strategy retainer. This is a small retainer. This is just maybe 2 hours, 3 hours of work for us to deep dive into someone's problem, figure out what's going on, look at federal case law, look on IRCC changes and policies and procedures that happen all the time. You know, canvas ourselves and our knowledge and try and put together a really good immigration strategy for someone. So you pay, you know, a few $100s to be able to have the first insight, the first connection, a general understanding of where you can go next. Then you might spend $1,000, a few $1,000s just getting the what needs to happen. What are the next steps? Then, if you choose to retain us to do the work, we can then do the file work or the bulk of the application work for you on another retainer. So it's broken into bite-sized chunks, and you don't have to spend $50,000 to get what you don't know, right? You know exactly what's happening at every stage of your application. You know exactly what's happening at every stage of the retainer, and it makes it more manageable, and it means people can really understand and pay reasonable money for really, really great experience.
Amazing. You know what I'm hearing? Value for money.
Yeah.
Value for money.
It's really important for us.
You know, it is more expensive to be swindled than getting the right quality knowledge and paying for the knowledge.
The first time.
Yes.
Right? Because that's the thing. These clients come to us and they've already had representation. They might have had representation for years and spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And they're still not either in Canada or they're not able to stay. And so we want to, someone said sometimes I'm working myself out of a job because I'm always educating people, you know, and giving them the right information so that they don't spend the wrong money. I don't want to take someone's money just because they're giving me money. I want to earn my keep because we do a really good job at the immigration team here. Amazing.
I think we need this kind of organization providing this kind of services in this community to guide against all forms of fraudstart or fraudulent activities, so we can reduce those challenges that immigrants are facing. Because trust me, I've seen a lot of that, and I know, you know, the challenges, the pain they go through. You know,
it's awful. It is just awful. When my mother arrived in Canada, she had me and my brother, 2 little kids. She was on her own. And we had a removal order lodged against our family because we didn't have enough establishment in Canada. My mom had only been an international student.
Wow.
And she wanted to stay in Canada and she wanted to bring us up in Canada. And so she had to fight. And she didn't have money for a lawyer. You know, it was very, very expensive. And at the time, a lot of people were charging these big bulk fees instead of breaking it up into manageable chunks for people. And so she had to get help from all kinds of sources, and she got MPs involved. And then when I was 8 years old, I became a Canadian citizen because my mom fought. But it was very hard for her to get support. And so at Osuji Smith, we want to make sure that we can support people through their immigration process, as well as be their lawyers and do the bulk of that work for them.
Amazing. So what are we doing today? It's
today,
like a celebration.
Today is a celebration. It's an acknowledgement of 2 great firms coming together to build something really, really special.